As you could well tell, with that last poetry video, I've gone to a shorter format, and I just figured it's more of how I feel at this particular time, and also I think after a certain point, I just felt for myself sharing a few poems at a particular juncture was probably better than sharing a ton of them at once. Though I never in previous videos shared more than say five. And of course, with a long lag time in between these poetry videos, it probably is not that huge of an issue. But like I said, I think I'm just going with my particular whim at this particular point. So this first poem is called "A Portrait of Myself as an Old Man." Now, being middle age at this point, it's interesting because when I was say in my late teens, early 20s, you know, it seemed like being someone in their 70s or 80s was far off. But with the intervening years, and particularly, like I said, now being firmly middle age, it doesn't look that far off any longer. And not to mention that just with the perception of everything going faster and faster and faster these days, it seems like, oh, wow, before I know it, I will be that old man. But let's just say I'm using a particular conceit here in this poem. The sandpaper has been worn smooth. The nails on the work table are bent, free at last. The drill is dissembled, no reassembly required. The paint cans are full of empty. Time to redo the walls. So yeah, that gives a clear sense of how I view aging at this point, and a, for lack of better terms, letting go. Now, this next poem, it's a haiku, so it's relatively short, and it's entitled "When Your Employer Says We're Family Here." Now, I'm not talking about a particular place or a particular work environment with this. But nonetheless, I think I was watching a number of videos on YouTube. This was more, I'd say, half a year ago or 6 months ago. And there was this one YouTuber who was talking about 7 red flags in an interview. And one of them was an employer saying, "We're family here." So this haiku, I think, gives a good encapsulation of what the issue is when an employer uses a phrase like, "We're family here." No, we're not. You're not my mother or father. I'm just a transaction. So, yeah, I kept with the 575 of the haiku arrangement. And a lot of times I really enjoy working with haiku just because it's definitely a challenge to say something with with a lot of weight in just 17 syllables in essence. Now, and once again, just give another shout out to Alice LaPlante. I think in the beginning of this book, she starts talking about another Burmese poetic form called the Yadu. And that is like 5 lines. And I believe it's 4 syllables, 4 syllables, 4 syllables, 4 syllables. And then the final line could either be 5, 7, 9, or 11, if memory serves me correct. But I think the thing that distinguishes the Yadu from, say, the haiku is in the Yadu, basically it has what we call a climb and rhyme scheme as well, which, I've been working with that form as of late, and I've really been enjoying what I've been coming up with. That poetic form, the Yadu, also deals with spring, or not with spring, but with the seasons primarily. Not saying haikus traditionally haven't dealt with the seasons as well. But as you can see, I was employing the haiku for different purposes than it has been traditionally. And this final poem that I'll share for the day is called Gun Violence in America. Now, once I read the rest of the poem, I think the listener could tell that I'm doing a lot of heavy lifting with this title. So let me just read it. Blood's on the moon. Not again. Yes, again. How many holes until we're holy? How many hymns must we sing? I smashed the trigger, dropped the cartridges. My shells can't protect me. My face is bloody, like the moon. I'll never be able to shine again. So you could infer a lot from that poem, just based off the title alone. And I'm not certain if I was going for any one single statement with that poem, but as of late, I believe in America at this point, since January 1st, we've had 225 mass shootings. And to me, I just find that to be abhorrent. That in a so called civilized society, we have had, well, easily we're having more than one mass shooting a day with that statistic so far. And yeah, it saddens me. And I know that is really understatement for this horror. It really is. So you can see what's been on my mind as of late with this particular set of poems, along with some of my poems in the previous video. So anyway, hope you're doing well, and I will post some more content before long. All right, hope everyone's well.